my brothers and sisters of the same struggle. I would like to say I'm sorry for not speaking Urdu with you to be able to show how deep is my respect for you. And eventually I'm sure I will learn how to speak in your own language because I fell in love with these people, with the Pakistani people. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm a Brazilian, 39-year-old Brazilian, a social environmentalist, an internationalist, and a solidarity activist for Palestine. Since I was 18 years old, I learned that there was something wrong with this world. That the world that I've been educated in a colonial education system, has taught me so many lies. I was taught, for example, that the United States of America were the examples of liberty, of human rights, of success and abundance. And I also heard the same thing about Europe. I was taught to know the rivers in Europe and all the neighborhoods of New York, but I was never taught to learn the countries that were my neighbors in Latin America. Never taught to learn the history of Pakistan against colonialism, against British imperialism. And so when I was 18, I started to understand all of that. And now, 21 years later, I see a whole generation of millions and billions of people because the Palestinian people woke so many people up, and now they're finally questioning, what is the world that we live in? I heard so many times all of you saying here today that you need a system change. And it's exactly what is this generation needs to do. That's exactly the historical calling that we have upon us right now. Because the same system that enables a genocide in Palestine, a genocide in Sudan, a genocide in Congo, is the same system that is promoting an ecocide in the Amazon forest, in all the biomes all around the world. The system which is led by US imperialism and Israeli Zionism. A horrible system that exploits our workforce, that oppresses people, and that destroys nature. In its way of working, this system needs to be defeated. And we need to build a new system instead of that. A system where people can really live in truth and happiness, where people can live in solidarity, where people can live in love. The Ummah that you're building here, that you're teaching the whole world how to live, is where we need to look forward. That is the right path. The path where all people have the right to live free and equal. All people have the right to live in peace. Where no children in the world needs to learn the sound of an F-35 fighter jet that will throw a 2,000-pound bomb over their homes. A world where no children needs to understand which type of drones is close to her. If it's a surveillance drone that maybe will not kill her today, or if it's a quadcopter drone that will kill her today. A world where no children needs to learn how to be a content creator, a social influencer, not to starve to death. A country where no children need to understand the physiological effect of hunger in their bodies. We need to build this world. But in order to build a world where no children need to go through that, we need to defeat the biggest enemies of our history. And the biggest enemies are right there in a racist and supremacist ideology called Zionism that has been putting the Palestinian people through 8 decades of genocide and ethnic cleansing that has structured itself into an apartheid colonial state where people don't have the equal right depending on your ethnic group or your religion, where people cannot really live in peace. 21 years ago, I understood what the Palestinian cause was, and now 21 years later, I've been already arrested twice in their Israeli colonial dungeons, and I've been banned by them to go back to Palestine for 200 years, so they say. Because the free people of the world and the Pakistani people and people all around the world have been saying that will not obey their colonial rules. So they said that we were banned for 200 years. And I say to them, in less than 200 days, we will be back. And we will be back many times, as many as it's necessary, until Palestine is free. When they arrested the global Sumud flotilla, millions and millions of people around the world went to the streets. 4 million people in Italy made a general strike. Millions of people here all around Pakistan, in Karachi, in Lahore, in Islamabad, went to demonstrations because you know what is right now. They cannot lie to us anymore. This whole generation that understood what is capitalism, what is imperialist stage, will never fall for their lies again. So in order to build this new world, we need to be able to question the very functioning of the system. Just like in Pakistan, I'm from Brazil. We share with you the same colonial history. And you so bravely defeated British colonialism, and we also defeated European colonialism. But they have their new ways of trying to maintain us under their domain. And the ways that they say is that we need to follow their ideas of development. We need to follow their ideas of civilization. So we need to go into debt into their international banks. So we need to abide by their own ways of governance that we know that they are not for the people, because they are repressing their own people when they speak for Palestine. We need to question this and to say that we don't want to be a military corridor for them or a way for their imperialist intervention. In Brazil, we don't want to be their big farm or the big mining field or the big oil field. We want to be dignified, free people as the Global South deserves. And for that, we need to be brave, like you're being so brave these days to say that we'll not settle for their crumbs from their tables. We want a system change in a world where the people rule and government obeys, in a world where there's no genocide, in a world where there's no ecocide. And to do that, we must follow the path of the most resilient people in the world. The Palestinian people not only gave the world the lenses to see society as it really is, to show the horrific, corrupt regimes, the ones that sell their souls for money, for greed, or the ones that say they're democratic, but in the end they are horrible dictatorship against their own people when they disobey what they wanted the people to do. Palestinian people have shown us the way as well, how to be free. They gave us the map. And the map and the way to be free is to never give up on your principles and your values. Never give up and never fear. Even the most horrific military force in the world cannot defeat the whole world together, like Trump had to admit. So now we are in a new challenge. Their proposal of a peace is nothing but a new British mandate. And you know very well in Pakistan what a British mandate is, what British colonialism was. That 2 times the international community tried to decide for the Palestinian people without their participation, horrific tragedies came right after. When they established the British rule over Palestine in 1923, that paved the way for Zionism to start their colonization and domain over that region. That was the League of Nations by then. But then in 1947, already the United Nations, with the resolution, the partition plan that never consulted the Palestinians, gave to the Zionist regime 53% of that land. And what followed right after is that Zionism is expansionist. They are so greedy that 2 years later they were already taking over 78% of Palestinian land. And then in 1967 they dominated and military occupied the entire Palestine, 100% of that, including the West Bank and Gaza, which they only left in 2007 to turn Gaza into a concentration camp that now the Palestinians are screaming to the world that they will never accept again. And together we will not accept as well, because the future of the Palestinian people is most likely the future of all humanity. And we must be brave, like you are being brave here in Lahore, to say that we will never settle for less than total freedom and liberation for the Palestinian people, where everybody can live free and equal in a just world, in a free world. Thank you so much. It has been an honor to be here with you. Let's transform the world.